Hello guys and welcome to Yarelina's Reborn Nursery. Today I am with my beautiful journey and we're going to make a fitting video, a fake fitting video to chat a little bit. And she is the Precious Sculpt by Lori Sullivan Roy, and she was beautifully painted and rooted by, not rooted, but painted by Cheryl Martin. And Cheryl has a dear friend named Karen, and she's the one that bred her babies. And absolutely love this baby. When I think on, paint silicone, she's one of the sculpts that I want to paint. I don't know. I'm sure it's not going to look this good. I'm sure it's not going to be absolutely beautiful like her. I love the way the artist painted her lips. Um, Everything, but there is something that is hard to achieve. To achieve a realistic, what is the name? Like achieving a realistic lips color is harder than you can imagine or that you think it is. So I put a little bit of lubricant. I use this one that is glycerin free, paraben free, just water and silicone. And her artist told me to use one that is, only with water and silicone, and that's what I did. And she's in this knitted that my dear friend Alicia over at Tiny Hands Forever, she gifted this to me for my Laura, and I absolutely love this knitted. Um, and these beautiful socks too that I think is not exactly the same pink, but I love pink. So if it's pink, I'm going to love it. So this dusty rose color is just incredibly cute. Let me look for a cloth for me to, or maybe I didn't thought on that. Okay, this is a bib. That's what I wanted. So I have this for the babies that I paint to sell, but I haven't finished any babies. I'm rooting currently a baby. It's taking me forever. I'm feeling so slow, but yeah, we're getting there. Hopefully I can finish soon. I miss so much painting. I think is my favorite part of everything. But I wanted to chat today with you about it is truly possible to do a rational buying, or it's just impossible to resist the temptation of a impulsive buy. um I have to be honest with you. When I go to reborns.com, I follow artists on Instagram, I follow artists and sculptors on Facebook. So actually I'm looking at babies every time, and some of them it's easy to say I will not have that baby because it's just not in my budget. It's just impossible right now. But there's babies that are just in the best or at the perfect price range. So you basically can afford that baby. It's not your dream baby. It's just that you stopped by, you saw this baby, you were not looking for this sculpt, you just saw this baby and you want to have it. So there's when you click the button and you buy this baby and you are, oh my God, I cannot believe I just bought this baby. There's some sculpts that we that we think, oh my goodness, I would like to have X, Y, or C sculpt. And then you see a very beautifully painted sculpt and that you were looking for, so you buy it. It's different when you are doing an impulsive buy, because sometimes it's just the sculpt that you don't like, or it's just only the rooting, or maybe it's just the painting, or maybe it's something that you think this baby is just perfect, but you don't you don't think about if it's the right baby for me. It's just it's a is my price range, and also is a beautiful baby. So I'm going to give you a tip. What I do always when I'm buying a baby, when I like a baby, I'm like head over heels about the baby. um Usually when I think on is a sculpt, right? And there is an artist that I like, that I would like to have the baby painted by this artist. But it happens that it's harder, when you see the baby finish, it's, it's just, you see the final product. But sometimes you like a sculpt. So you're making plans and all that. But sometimes you see the baby and you just want the baby. What I always do is that I think very much on the babies that I want. And usually, if I see a baby that I like, but it's not a sculpt that I wanted, it's not the artist that I wanted, and it's going to give me or making me be farther away from the baby that I really want. If I buy a baby, for example, I want a silicone baby. So if I want a silicone baby and then I saw a vinyl baby that is in my budget, it's beautifully done. But if I start going to this baby, I'm going to be farther away from my dream baby, let's say. So what I do is I think like sometimes you don't want to miss the baby. Like if I don't buy it now, somebody's going to buy it and I have to move quickly. But if you're not in a rush, you're not looking for a baby, it's not the sculpt, it's not the artist, and it's just an impulsive buy, something that you can do is just to think about it. Let it sit overnight, think about it, let it sit for a couple of days. Um, Sometimes I am like, oh my goodness, I love this baby the first day. The second day, I still want it. The third day, then I'm seeing like, it's not exactly what I'm looking for. So, what I'm going to go there and buy this baby? And I start thinking, you know, but this hobby is so emotional and it's hard because sometimes you see a baby that is exactly the coloring of something familiar to you, maybe your grandbaby, maybe your own son or daughter. So you see this baby and you start, oh my goodness, I'm not going to find another one like this one. So it's emotional, but at the time that you can handle it and say, hey, I was not really looking for this baby. I was trying to save money to buy a silicone, then I should not be going to that baby. So you have to think twice. If you're like me and you have to, to stay in budget, um, most of us are doing that. We have to stay in budget. So that's what I do. I let it sit for a couple of days and I think about it. If the baby's not sold, the baby's in my price range, and after 3 days, I cannot stop thinking on that baby. That's a baby that I would like to buy. But if I consider it, actually, if I feel I can doubt of it, like I'm not 100% sure, then I will stop. I will stop and I will let it sit in my mind like 3 days. I will think about that. I will think how that is going to be affecting my budget and my goal at the long term. And that way I decide if it's going to be worth it. But the best way to stay in budget and not buy is just to stay away from certain places. Like, for example, I was on reborns.com. I stopped going to reborns.com every single day. I did that for, oh my goodness, for I think my first year, I was so obsessed with reborns.com. But I stopped doing it because then I was impulsive buying babies that I was not looking to buy. So it was a struggle. So for me to do what I wanted to do, I wanted to afford silicone. So that was making me harder to go to my goal. So I stay away from remorse.com. But one time I was selling, you remember Mrs. Jolina? I was on ribbons.com because I was doing everything to set up her listing. And you know what happened? I saw Raya, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is not the timing. I saw Jolina because I have to pay off another silicone baby that was Kellen. So that's what the only reason I sold her. So it was a sacrifice for me. So um, what happened? I saw her. I let it sit in my mind. I was like, no, I was refusing to buy another baby because I was selling one baby as a sacrifice to keep my other silicone baby. So yeah, was a sacrifice. So I didn't want to buy anything, but I couldn't, you know, I couldn't remove her from my mind. I was thinking on her constantly, and I was like, oh, I want that baby. I'm sure. I was telling my friends, I know I shouldn't be buying. Actually, I just sold my baby and I should not be buying. You know how it goes. And I bought my Raya, and I bring her home and I loved her. But then things happens, and I again have to make room, budget, and all that. So I decided to sell her, which was a very hard decision too. So what I'm telling you is not that you don't buy, but if you want to buy a silicone, for example, or you want a high-end baby, some artists of this high-end baby reborns are asking $3,000-4,000. So if you want this dream baby, you have your sculpt, you have the spot to have this baby done by this artist, then stop buying babies that are removing you from the goal. Try your hardest to not buy everything you see. If you cannot afford it, if you can afford it, you don't have to think on that. But actually, um, when I was bringing home Journey, it was a big sacrifice, but I was not collecting silicone. So she was my first expensive baby. So I was selling from my collection. I was selling babies that I painted, and I was little by little building that. And I paid her for 9 months. So was a struggle, but there I realized if I'm going to collect silicone, I'm going to have to be more strict with my budget. And I'm telling you this because yesterday I was on ribbons.com. I don't remember why I entered. Oh my goodness. And I saw so many beautiful babies. And I was like, oh, I wanted a painted hair baby. But was the sculpt that you want? No. Was in my budget? Yes. I can buy it right now because I don't have any goals? No. So no way. So making an impulsive buy is very easy, but it takes like no thinking. I go into it. But when you think about it, and that's something also that sometimes some collectors have this buyer remorse, and they start making excuses to return that baby to have their money back. And sometimes they are dishonest to do that. Um, you get rid of the buyer remorse when you take the time and you let it sit in your mind and analyze if it's the baby that you want, is really what you want, and then you're not going to have any regrets. But it takes sacrifice, it takes self-control. I know it is very hard, and right now I'm full of work. I need to do many things, and I don't want to buy babies that are not going to sit for a long time. I want to build my collection knowing what I want. And before I was like, oh, I like this baby, it's beautifully done, bam, buy it. And I enjoy it, I love them, but at the end was not a long-term baby because it was not intended to be. Was not the sculpt, was not the painting, was not the artist, was not the budget. Sometimes I feel guilty because they were too expensive and were not planned, so I was not prepared for it. Then I was like regretting the sale. So it's so complicated. But yeah, for you to not feel Like you have to buy because somebody's going to buy it. Sometimes I have babies that I am like looking forward to buy. I let it sit and they sold. And then after a week, 2 weeks, I see the baby. I'm like, I don't regret it because if I feel like this baby, I want to have it so badly, I cannot pull it out of my mind. Then I know I want this baby. And I'm very obsessive. I zoom the pictures, I see every detail, and I have to be 100% sure that I want to bring this baby home because I don't want to regret it. I want my investment to be smart. And also because it's so slow to sell. And I'm very grateful. I have to thank you all that have bought for me from me that my baby sold very quickly when I needed to sell. Sometimes I need to sell right away, money, rush. I need to sell this baby and baby sell very, very quickly and very grateful. But that's not the story for everybody and it's not the story for every doll. So I have to think twice. And sometimes I have to think 3 times before doing it. But yeah, if you have a dream baby, I was with my friends, I was telling them which artists and which sculpts I like. So I was like, oh, I would love to have this baby from this artist. So we decided to make a list. We have a little list of babies that we want from particular artists, and we're saving toward that, right? And sometimes priority change, sculpts change, and all that. But most of the time, if you really want the baby, if you really want the sculpt, you're going to do it slowly, but you're going to achieve that because that's the thing collecting, you know. When I saw Journey, I loved the sculpt from the first time. And before I was asking to the artist, I was looking for pictures, I was looking to the sculptor page, I was looking on YouTube videos, and I was looking at every detail. And before she arrived here, I knew things that I didn't like about the sculpt. And but I was completely sure that I want her. So this baby was totally planned, and this baby was not a rush or what's the word, like an impulse. Was something planned, was something that when I speak to the artist, I was completely sure what I wanted. And I have seen that when I do that, my babies are in my nursery more time. When our babies that are not in my plans, they are impulse buy, even if I love them at the moment, I enjoy them, but at the end, they don't last in my nursery. So I have been learning from my experiences. I have been learning how I want to collect, and I'm trying to make decisions that make sense to my taste or what I have experienced. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think you can do rational buys? Do you actually do rational buys? Or you actually are an impulse buyer? I know people that are like that, and that's okay. It's nothing bad with that if you can afford it, of course. But um, I think at the end of the day, we are like, I shouldn't be buying that baby. I know, I don't know why I do that. And it happens with many of the decisions in our lives. But I'm talking specifically here about the dolls. Are you an impulse buyer? Are you a more thinker? You think you have the control of what is going to be in your nursery? You're specific. You are someone that just the baby, because it happens, the baby has to call you, right? Like the overall baby has to pull your heartstrings. And sometimes it happens that everything is together there and you, boom, this baby is the one. And you were not planning to buy that baby. It happens, but it happens all the time or it's just randomly. So let me know in the comments. I will be very interested to know your opinion about that. And I hope you enjoyed this little chat with Mrs. Journey that has all her lips full of the lubricant. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. And if you do so, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel or you have been stopping by but you're not subscribed, go back, watch my other videos. And if you like the content, please consider subscribing to it. Thank you for watching and see you on to the next video, guys. Bye-bye.